Hi guys, welcome to another Follow Everton video. I'm John, your host for today, and we're going to be going through the player ratings from Everton versus Brentford. Obviously, as I'm sure you're all aware, it was 1-1. Bit disappointing, if I'm honest, because obviously I know we went 1-0 up, but in the end we fell to another defensive error with a set piece mistake. Could have done better with that really, but it ended up being 1-1. So make sure you drop your comments down below on what you think the player ratings were. Make sure you like and subscribe and sit back and relax for another video. So I'm going to start off by going through the player ratings. Feel free to add your comments down below. I'm going to say that Pickford, he had, I think in the first half was a bit of a shaky game. He came out to a few balls, which he didn't look very confident with. I think his kicking ability as well when sending the ball up. Obviously, he got the assist last game, but I think his kicking can be improved because a lot of the balls seem wayward and they go out for a few throw-ons. Obviously, we got lucky with him hitting the post a few times, but it didn't seem that he was covering the angles. It's not like he was near to the post to offer a save, and it ended up being rather lucky that we only conceded one. I think he made a few decent saves, especially there was one coming in from the corner, and he was able to push it away because it was a low header. So again, he did make a few good saves, but I think in the second half he was better. So I'm going to give Pickford a 4.5 rating overall. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below as we make our way through the comments. We'll start off with the wing backs. I'm going to start with Mykolenko. I think he was quiet for a large portion of the game. Usually he offers quite a lot going forward as well with some good crossing ability, but I think he was pretty quiet. He put in a few very good tackles, and there was one where he was in the box. So obviously you have to be very careful. And when he put the tackle in, it was a very clean challenge, very well executed and well timed. But other than that, I don't really think there was much to note on him. So I think I'm going to give him a 4.5 overall. And then if we move on to the other wing back on the right hand side, we have Patterson. I think again there was our defense. It was pretty poor today, but I think overall it was a whole team performance as opposed to individual players. So when it comes to Patterson, he made one crucial error which we were lucky not to concede from. There was a chance where he was kind of outside the edge of the box towards the corner flag, and instead of putting in a challenge or trying to clear it, he sort of ducked under it and then was trying to do something clever. But that's not really what we need, and instead we should be looking to clear the ball away. So he sort of gave them position, and we were lucky not to concede from it. But again, otherwise he had an all right game, put in some good tackles, but again a bit quiet, similar to Mykolenko. So I'm going to give him a 5 overall. Again, make sure you comment your opinions down below as we make our way through them. Quick comment from Barry. Thank you very much. Nice to see you in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. Brian has said defense very poor. Yeah, I agree with that. I think in the first half we were very poor, but I think in the second half when Onana was on the pitch, we seemed to sort of sharpen up a bit. But once he got substituted, we were sort of nowhere, and we were letting them back into the game until inevitably they scored. A comment from Eugene. Hi, Eugene. I think Everton needs more players in before Wednesday's transfer deadline day. Yeah, completely agree. I think our team compared to other teams in the Prem, we look very thin, especially going forward. Obviously, we've just signed Mope, so hopefully he comes in and makes a difference. But I think we are very thin, especially with a lot of injuries. Obviously, we lost Mina and Godfrey in the first game against Chelsea, so we really need to hold our defence and make sure we aren't making any sloppy errors. And also going forward, we're very, very thin. I don't think McNeil is a very good player, and I really don't think that's what the club needs. And Rondon, again, I think there's very mixed reviews, but most of them being negative about how he's just not up for Premier League standard. So yeah, we definitely need to make some more signings. Onto our centre-backs then. Obviously, we have Tarkowski, Connor Cody, and Holgate for the first half of the game. I think Tarkowski and Connor Cody were very similar in the way that in the first half of the game, we were very poor. It seemed like no one really wanted to make a challenge, and they were all sort of waiting on other people to see what they would do, which is obviously very, very poor. And I think they need to, especially with their experience, they've come in, I think they're 29 years of age, each of them. They've come in, as Ryan said in our video, the post-match reaction, that's three international English players that should just be able to control the game more, know what they're doing, and also guide a few of the younger players in how to perform, where realistically, they weren't doing that in the first half of the game. I think in the second half they did improve slightly, but again, the defending for the set piece was shocking, and realistically, that's what caused us to lose points in this game. I think. I think another interesting point is Connor Cody. There were, I think, 3 or 4 occasions on the pitch where he either went down very easily or he sort of he was making a meal of it and on the floor holding his face and not getting up, which obviously if you're trying to win the challenge or win the free kick, then that's fine. But the fact that he's on the floor not getting up, he sort of, I don't know, it just doesn't make a very good impression for the younger players, especially like Gordon, who I think if you're not an Everton fan, people have been making comments about Gordon, how he goes down far too easily. And I don't want our younger players getting the wrong impression of it. He's falling over a lot and rolling around, and it doesn't look good for an experienced player to be doing that. And I think it could cause the younger players a bit of a, I don't know, not the right attitude to be taking. So I think Tarkovsky and Connor Cody, I've given them both a 4. There's definitely room for improvement, and they need to cut out these sloppy mistakes, because last season we had Michael Keane as well, who hasn't really been playing this season. Obviously, came on today when Holgate went off injured. Obviously, I hope that's nothing too serious, but we'll come on to him in a bit. And I think he had an all right game, but he was making quite a few mistakes from last season. And obviously, we don't want Tarkovsky and Connor Cody to be making the same sort of errors, which caused us to concede quite a few goals. So I've given them both a 4. And then coming on to our last defensive player was Holgate. There was an occasion where he put Pickford in quite a bit of danger. He sort of headed the ball back. Oh, sorry, no, he kicked the ball back, but it was sort of a lofted pass, and it put him under a lot of pressure. And the ball ended up not coming to anything. But again, that was a very dangerous situation to put the keeper in. But he went off. Luckily, he was walking off, so he didn't need to be stretchered like Godfrey in the first game. So we hope he's okay and he's able to continue for future games. But yeah, I think overall defensively, the fact that I've not given any of our players above a 5 is really something to be worried about. I was speaking with the boys earlier who also run the channel, and they were saying that I think today, out of the 4 games we've played this season so far, has probably been the worst defensive game we've had. On the flip side, I would probably say it's one of the best attacking games that we've had. It's a shame we can't have a game with both of them being on point together. But it really is a shame to see something like that after having a good game and being 1-0 up. It's the first time we've led in a game to then not be able to come away with anything. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Keep your comments coming in down below. Hello, David. Thank you for joining us. I love you, Jonathan. Thanks for this wonderful content. Pleasure having you all on. Julian as well. Agree. Thank you very much, guys. Keep your comments coming in down below. Who would you say is man of the match? Who would you say has had a very shaky performance? Keep the comments coming in below. Right, let's move on to the midfield. We'll start with Onana. Obviously, a new signing for us, has a lot to prove. We've slowly been sort of easing him into Premier League lifestyle. I think he made some excellent challenges. There was the one where Gray was sent through on goal, and it was because Onana had originally lost the ball, and then he was determined to win the ball back, and he went in with an absolutely superb tackle, probably one of the best tackles I've seen so far. It was clean, it was timed perfectly, and it actually sent us onto the counter attack. So it's that kind of ability and the determination that we need from these players. If you go and make a mistake, don't just hold your hands up and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Go and actually prove yourself and win the ball back. And he's determined to do that. So he also made a great block in the box. But I think we sort of fell apart when he was subbed off. He's a real impact player. And there's a few people saying that he came off because of stamina issues, but I think he wasn't looking tired. And I think as soon as we brought him off, we really started to fall apart and we sort of let them back into the game. So I've given Onana a 6.5. Obviously, he wasn't on for the full game. He did make a few errors, but I don't want to hold him up on that. But overall, I think he played very well, and he was definitely one of the best players that we had on the pitch. Moving on to Iwobi then. I think I've slated Iwobi quite a lot in the past, especially last season when he originally first came in. I said he was a very poor player, didn't really look to offer much. But I think, especially this season that we've seen of him, and towards the end of last season, and especially today, he's been a real playmaker. He covers all over the pitch. He helps going forward. He's helping in defence. He has the ability to sort of. I'm not saying his vision is superb, but he's definitely looking up and trying to see where people are available and trying to create options and space. I think, again, if we look to the goal that we conceded, he was a big part in that. He's looking forward. He's not really looking at the men around him and seeing what's happening. And ultimately, it was the man that he was supposed to be marking that got through and was able to score such an easy tapping goal. So that is very frustrating. And originally, I had him and another player who will come on to as man of the match. But after that, I can't really give it to him. So I think he did play very well overall. Obviously, there was an error there, which was pretty fatal. But I do think he had a good game. And at the same time, there are multiple players at fault for the goal we conceded. So overall, I've given Iwobi a 7. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. But I think overall, he had a very good game. He was very useful in and around the pitch. It was just a shame about the final the goal that we conceded. On to who should we go with? I'm going to go with Gray. Demarai Gray, he had nice movement, nice play. He was hard to play against, I think. And with a player of his pace, he's really able to run about, and he's got great skill and control of the ball as well. So I think he is a real threat and someone we need to utilise. He was obviously through on goal, and he didn't take the chance, which would have put us 2-0 up, which could have ultimately seen the game out and we could have won from it. And he really should be scoring against Brentford there. But again, it was frustrating for him not to get on the score sheet. I've given him a 6.5 overall because I think he did play well, but ultimately he should be scoring that and putting us in a better position there for us to win the game. We've got 2 players left. We've got Gordon and we've got McNeil. I'm going to start with Gordon. Obviously, what can we say? It was an excellent goal. He knew exactly where the goal was, where the players were. He didn't look up. He was focused on the ball. And as the ball came in, it was a great touch. Another little flick on touch to send the ball forward. And then a very crucial finish. And he buried it very well. He had an excellent game, I think. He knew exactly where the goal was with his finishing. He even helped out in defence, put some great blocks in and challenges. And obviously there's a reason why Chelsea are prepared to pay so much for him. He's a crucial player to the team, and fantastic to have as an Everton player. I've given Gordon an 8.5 rating overall. Obviously his goal was excellent. He played well all around the pitch. It's just a shame that the rest of the players weren't up to par with him as well and playing at his level. A lot of people have been asking as well whether we should sell him. Obviously, 60 million is a huge amount of money. But at the same time, the amount he offers Everton with the team is so crucial for us to have. I've used the word crucial quite a lot, but he does play that pivotal role. And I think he's a very important player to have. And if we were to sell him, I feel like we would I know we're very thin going forward now, but I really feel like if you take him out of the team, we'd collapse even further. So I've given him an 8.5 overall. Again, let me know if you agree or disagree. And then the final player that was not a sub, I don't really think we have much to say on subs. They all came on either late or didn't really make an impact. Just on that note, Michael Keane came on. He obviously wasn't playing a full game, but he did put in some defensive headers, which, I mean, you just expect from him, really. But nothing really of note from them. Very quickly on Kevin. No, we should keep Gordon. Bugger Chelsea. Yeah, I agree. 60 million is obviously so much money. Money in football these days are stupid, but obviously 60 million for a player that hasn't really developed their career, obviously still very young, things can happen. 60 million is a huge amount, but again, the amount he provides for Everton is so much positive play. And then on to McNeil. Now, McNeil is an interesting one. I really don't think that he's a good fit for Everton. I think, especially today, he's very quiet. He sort of looks like a lost sheep. He doesn't know where to be or what to do. Even if the ball comes to him, I just feel like he's so lost. I feel like that's the word that sums him up, lost. And he really doesn't offer anything at all of note. I've given him the worst rating out of all the players, and I've given him a 2.5. Now, some of you might think that's harsh, but I really don't think he offers anything to Everton. He's just not got what we're looking for. And I don't see how he fits in the team. If anything, he just takes away a position that we could be using. I'd have preferred to see Rondon start the game and play where McNeil was, because I just don't think he has the talent. I feel like he'd be more suited in a League One, League Two team, where it's not as intense. Maybe he can have a run or a shot at goal. But those are my player ratings for today's match. Keep the comments coming. Let me know what you think. David says Gordon might link up well with Mope. I really hope so. That now that we've got a striker in, it'd be good to see what we can do. Obviously, we need to sharpen up the defence and hopefully play as we did for the last 3 games. But I just think that at the moment it's been very difficult without a striker, because I really don't think McNeil we can even class as a useful player at the moment. Do you think McNeil will be better with strikers with his crosses? Maybe with strikers he will improve. It's an interesting one. I think McNeil we could play as a position where he needs to be in the box, ready for either a tap in or for the ball to come into him, because he seems at the moment that he's sort of hanging around the outside of the box. And there were a few people mentioning this today, and I was talking with the other fellas that run the channel. We seem to be, when we're going forward, we always try and seem the perfect opportunity to shoot and have a shot on goal. There's many opportunities where if you sort of have a shot early or you're on the edge of the box and you have a shot, it will test the keeper and maybe they have to palm it out or push it back into a dangerous area. And then we can capitalise on that moving forward, where I think Everton and most of our players, they're sort of looking for the perfect chance to shoot and they're passing it around the edge of the box and they're not really taking these opportunities. So I would like to see us have more of a crack. And I know we had quite a few opportunities today, and we didn't take them all. But if we can start putting in a few more shots here and there and start putting them under pressure, then I really think we can start scoring more goals. Will he be better with strikers with his crosses? I'm looking. He takes quite a few of our corners, and I'm not too impressed with his delivery either. I feel like they either go too far wide or they're straight to the keeper, and they're not very threatening. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I just feel like McNeil doesn't really fit within our team, and even if he does, he's not really the player to do it, because I don't think he's good enough to be in a Premier League team. Moving on. Is Mope available then for our next game? Yes. So today he was unavailable just because the deal went in too late. But providing he's all fit and well, which he should be, he will be available for our next game, which is against Leeds, I believe. So hopefully, again, this start of the season, obviously we had Chelsea, which is a difficult game, but we did beat them last season. So I'm not too disappointed with the draw. With the loss that we had against them. Obviously, we lost to Villa as well, 2-1, and the goal came from an own goal from Luca Dean, ex-Everton player. So, again, we haven't scored there. But then against Forest, obviously, we had the assist from Pickford, who is not really the player that we should be providing our assists and our forward momentum. And then obviously today it was a long ball again with a good finish from Gordon. So hopefully, sorry, that was a comment. So Mope can play. So hopefully with more strikers there, Gordon will be able to sort of have more of a runabout. Gray can use his pace and get him behind. And hopefully Mope will be in the box and he'll be able, when a cross comes in, he'll be in the right place to be able to finish it. And I think that's where we've been lacking, because all our forward players have been, because we're lacking with forwards, they're all having to try and go forward and create what we need. So by them having to create the chances with the players, there's no one left in the box to be able to actually finish it. So I feel like that's where we've been struggling. So to have Mope in in the team, and able to just be not even a tap-in striker, but someone to just be in the box ready for a shot. I think that will really improve our squad. Um, yeah, good that he's in the team there. Another comment here. I've heard a lot of people say this about McNeil. Jonathan, so you're not on your own. Yeah, I really don't think he's difficult because he just looks so lost when he's on the pitch. And obviously we need someone who's aggressive, assertive. He knows what he's doing. Onana has come into the team, and I know they're different positions, but he's so confident with his ability and putting in these strong challenges. And we need a player with confidence in their own ability. Whereas McNeil, I think he doubts himself and he's just unable to make any sort of shot on target or to be able to provide a ball going forward. And it's just very frustrating to see because it's sort of a lost position. I'd rather, as I said, play Rondon, someone who at least will be able to go forward and try something, because it really is a bit of a wasted player or position there. How was Pickford today? Was he captain? Yeah. So obviously Seamus Coleman wasn't playing. He's getting quite old. Obviously, love the player. Given a lot for the club. And I believe I saw Stake release something on Instagram today and said if he plays one more, then he's reached his 300th appearance potentially, which is I think 24 less than Tim Howard. So yeah, big milestone for him coming up. But yeah, so Pickford was captain today. I think in the first half he looked a bit lost. Maybe the captaincy is given, I don't know, a bit of pressure on him, but he was sort of running out to things and he didn't look too settled. I think the defence though was a big letdown today, so I don't want to blame Pickford too much. He did make a good save, but again, I think he should be making that save. So he was captain, but I think it was a bit of a subpar performance. Obviously, we only conceded one, and that was not really his fault, the goal that we conceded. But again, we were very lucky not to concede 3, 4, even 5. I don't think he covered the angles as well as he could have, and he seemed quite far away from the balls that hit the post and the bar. John, how do we approach the Leeds game? I think a lot of the boys have said this as well. I think we need to move from 5 at the back because ultimately we're playing 3 at the back with 2 wingers, 2 wing backs who are moving forward and try and help, but they were very isolated today. And then even with 5 at the back, there was a chance that we had from Tarkowski, and it was sort of a half chance. If he got a bit of contact on it, it might would have gone in. But then they went on a counter attack, and we were left with a 1 versus 3 situation where we only had 1 defender back, and luckily they didn't score from it. But again, they were very threatening, Brentford today, and we were lucky not to concede from that again. So I think we played 4 at the back. I think Tarkowski fits much better into that system as well. Obviously, we have Mopé going forward. I would drop McNeil. I don't think he has what it takes. I would play Mopé instead of McNeil. And I would like to see Onana start the game and play the full thing out because I think we dropped off significantly when he was substituted. So I think we need to play. We need to utilise the pace as well of Gordon and Gray because they are lethal. If they can get in, split the defenders, their movement is superb. So as long as their finishing is on par with their pace and ability, then I really do think we can, especially with Mopé there, score a good few goals. And obviously, I think this season as well, there's a lot of teams. Last season, there was Norwich, and they were just out of it straight away. They were relegated pretty early on. But I think the standard of teams this season has really increased. And I am worried for Everton because I think we are very near the bottom of the bunch. So we really need to sort out our team chemistry and be firing on all cylinders. Because as I said, I think this game we were probably one of the best striking performances we've had, and that was without Mopé as well. So to bring him in is even more of an asset. But I think defensively it was worse. So if we're firing on all cylinders, then hopefully we'd be able to make something of it. I didn't hear about your Keane analysis. How was he today? I didn't really comment on any of our subs because I think there wasn't really much to comment on. Keane, he obviously last season he was pretty poor, and I think that's why obviously we've brought in new signings to remove the errors that was there. And obviously it wasn't just Keane, but there were a lot of basic errors which should have been stopped. So I think today he came on, he didn't really make any errors apart from the corner, which we conceded. But again, that's not on Michael Keane. That's on the whole defence as a unit. So yeah, he performed all right. Nothing really of note, but he made a few challenges, a few clearances. So he did what needed to be done realistically. Hard to criticise a new signing in a poor team after just 4 games, though. I think, yeah, you are right. But I just, from what we've seen and from he just doesn't look like he has it. Like, at least with other players, so our other new signings, Tarkowski, Cody, Onana, they've all shown some ability. Whether or not they've actually had their best performances, that's left to see, and obviously they develop as they go along. But McNeil, I really don't think he's done anything of note, to be honest. And I think he's just lacking in what we need, and his ability just isn't there for me. Pickford saved us today. I'm not too sure about that. I think he made 1 or 2 good saves, but overall, I think he didn't really cover his angles too well. When they hit the post, he was well away from where it was. It's not like the post was here and he was here and he sort of got there. The one that hit the bar, obviously, he was a bit fortunate as well. It came off the bar and hit him on the hand to stop it flying into the danger area again, and then got on top of it. But I wouldn't really say he saved us. I think it was overall a pretty poor defensive performance from our team, which is why I think I gave him a 4.5. Dwight McNeil is rubbish. Why did we sign him? And why is the goalkeeper captain? So first point, Dwight McNeil, yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, he still might have something to prove, especially as a previous comment said, if Mopé comes in, maybe he might find some form. And hopefully he does. Why is the goalkeeper captain? I would say it's because a lot of the players with experience within our team, Connor Cody, Tarkowski, again, they would probably be captain had they been in the team for a while. If you look to the rest of our team, we've got a very young, inexperienced team. Obviously, Gordon, Gray, Davies, Onana, who's 21. They're all Patterson, Mikalenko. These are all very, very young players and inexperienced. So I don't think we can give the captaincy to anyone else. I said in the pre-match interview that it should be Pickford because ultimately he's the one with the most experience in the team and can hopefully guide it from the back, sort of thing. How's defence let down? Only conceded 1, pal. I don't know if you caught the game, but we hit the post. Sorry, I wish we were able to do that. Brentford hit the post twice. They also hit the bar once. They were threatening throughout the whole game. The defence was very poor. And to be honest, man of the match today, I would have to give, apart from Gordon, but Luck. Luck was very much on our side and they were outstanding for us. But to be honest, we got away with it. And I know we were winning 1-0 and we could have gone up 2-0 through Gray, but he didn't finish the chance. But overall, I think we were lucky to come away with a draw. And I think it's just one of those games where, yes, we could have won. Yes, we could have lost. But we also could have drawn, which we ended up doing. But I think we were lucky to come away with a point because they were very threatening. And honestly, if the scoreline was 5-1 at the end of the game, I wouldn't have been surprised. We really were lucky in that way. I assume you mean spot on, John. You're right about McNeil. Hopefully we'll have a striker or two. He'll fling crosses in, which will lead to goals. Yeah, I think he's just lacking what's going on around us and he looks lost. So hopefully if we bring in a position, another striker and forward like Mopé, I think we still need to sign another 1 or 2 before the window closes. Because again, obviously through injuries or resting players and to help each other, hopefully he will find his form. Another comment, Lampard is stubborn. He's a bottle job. We'll stick with the 5 at the back, outplayed by a team of average Brentford players. I think was it Jan? No, sorry, Dan. Dan was on here before and he was very negative with Lampard and saying he refuses. There we go. Sorry. Apologies about that. Yeah, he was sort of stubborn in the way that he's not really changing and adapting. Once we went 1-0 up and Brentford changed their plan, we should have then adapted ourselves and repositioned ourselves. So I saw someone in the comment in the post-match analysis as well, saying that Pickford sorry, not Pickford. Lampard has a plan A, but no plan B, or not even a plan A. So I think I do like Lampard. I think he is working with a squad which is average to poor at best. And he's trying to make these signings and cover our weaknesses from last season. Obviously, we conceded quite a lot of set pieces last season. We had a lot of difficulties. But obviously, we had Richarlison to be able to be our lead goal scorer. So the fact that we got rid of him, I think it's poor on his behalf that he hasn't signed someone earlier. Obviously, we're 4 games deep into the season, 5 if you want to count the cup game. But we really should have signed someone quicker than this because, to be honest, we have quite an easy start to the season. We've played Villa, we've played Brentford, Notts Forest, newly promoted team, and we've got Leeds coming up. So these are all teams that we could be beating, but we're just not able to. It looks like Keane will stay with injury to Holgate. I don't think the injury with Holgate is too bad. Obviously, he walked off the pitch, whereas Godfrey was stretchered off in the first one. So hopefully it's nothing too serious and wish him obviously a speedy recovery. But I would like to see Holgate back in, and I prefer him over Keane. I think Keane would be better as a sub when we need him, or if we're trying to defend a lead and bring on an extra defensive player. All these injuries are getting out of control again. Yeah, it seems to be the curse with Everton. We always seem to pick up injuries left, right and centre, whether it's in the training ground or just the one with Holgate. It wasn't even a tackle. It was just like a collision, and he went down for it. And it really does thin out the squad even more so than already. So hopefully we bring some players back. Obviously, Calvert, I believe, is to be coming back. He was in training the other day, so hopefully we see a return for him as well. Hopefully Mopé and Calvert-Lewin could provide some sort of link-up and both be on firing form. Holgate injured, why? Yeah, I think I covered that. There was a bit of a clash, and Holgate's knee, he went back down on the floor. He got back up after the initial challenge, had a bit of a runabout, and then there was a goal kick from Pickford, and then he sort of just went down to the ground. So again, hope he is okay. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. Really means a lot to us. Pleasure having you all with us. Brentford ran straight through us today when Onana went off. Hopefully we get Garner in ASAP. I'm not sure if Garner is wanting to come. There was a bit of a fall through with that. I think with Onana coming in, they're both quite similar players or play similar roles. So I'm not sure if he wants to come. I might be wrong with that. But yeah, we did collapse after Onana went off. He made some excellent challenges and had a very good game. So it was a shame when he was taken off. Need a bigger squad given injuries. Yeah, it's a struggle. Obviously, Lampard doing his best, and I think he has done well with signing a few good players. Obviously, he's trying to cover the weaknesses that he saw from the end of the close of last season. But yeah, we are pretty thin. We've got quite a few injuries, and even with the first team, we're still making errors. So, especially that we're thin up front, we do need to sign some more strikers. I don't think Mopé is going to be enough. We can't really rely on Mopé if we've got the likes of Rondon and McNeil behind him as support. We sort of have to just assume that he's going to play very well. So we do need to sign 1 or 2 more. Do the subs, please, John. It's difficult. I've made notes as I went along, but I just think with the subs, they all either came on too late, or they didn't really have anything of note. Michael Keane did the job that he needed to. Obviously came on and we conceded the corner. But I think that's just on all the defensive players. Davies, again, looked all right. All the Rondon didn't really have a chance or a runabout. And again, Vinagre came on. I would have actually liked to see him come on either earlier or start the game, because I do think he has a lot of potential going forward as well as defence. So maybe I'd like to see him start a few games here and there. But yeah, I really don't think there's much to add on the subs. Came on either too late or didn't really add anything. He got injured. Oh, there you go. Yeah, just a reply. Mark, good evening, Jonathan. Have you had a promotion? I'm just doing my own match ratings today. Some of the boys came on earlier as well, but happy to do this one. I think some of the boys had a bit of a problem finding a working stream. and the connection was a bit dodgy. But fortunately, or maybe not fortunately, I got to watch most of the game. So that's why I'm on tonight. But pleasure to have you all. Make sure you like and subscribe, share with friends, do all you can. We really love you having being on the channel. Davey sells out. I think he's an interesting one because a lot of people were saying last season he's not good enough to play. Maybe we should offload him. But I think he has got something to offer. I think the only problem is, if I was to make a criticism, I think he's quite a backwards negative player. Instead of trying to push forward, which is kind of what Onana does, pushing and moving forward, I think he's too quick to turn around and sort of pass back and like play it out from the back, which can obviously be damaging if we're trying to move forward. But yeah, he came on, did an all right job. Nothing really more to add. Squad player, that's it. Yeah. I think the team is very thin, and we do need to make some more signings before the close of the window, which is only about 4 or 5 days away. So we really do need to sign some more players, especially forwards, because if we pick up any more injuries, then we're going to struggle to field the first 11. Never mind have good subs and whatever. Thank you very much for joining us. I think we're going to wrap up there. Feel free to post your last few comments. Who was your man of the match? Who were the best players? Would you like to see any switches to the team? Would you play Vinagre as a start? Would you keep Onana on for the full 90? Mopé's just come in, so he'll be fit and ready for the game against Leeds. So would you play him instead of McNeil, or how would you change the team around? We're going to be wrapping up soon, so get your comments in now and we'll go through them quickly before we do. Well done, Jonathan. Done well with the player ratings on your own. You're good at this. Spot on, dude. Thank you very much. It means a lot. You're obviously a familiar face around here as well, coming into all our streams. So thank you very much for joining us. Mark, Onana looks like he was told to stop running with it. That's not what we do here. Keep it safe. That's interesting. I think Onana had an excellent game. It was a shame that he came off early. I think he had more in him. And obviously, when he made that mistake that gave the ball away, he sprinted straight back and put in an absolutely superb tackle. Really strong, really determined, and timed perfectly. And it actually sent Demarai Gray on a run and through, which unfortunately he didn't take, which would have put us up 2-0. But yeah, I think he had a very good game. And you can see the impact he has, even as a new signing. Only been there 4 games, hasn't started. I think that was his first start, but yeah, he's a real impact player, and I look forward to seeing what he has in future. We have no other options available. Players are into the squad. Yeah, we really are very thin, especially with injuries. So I think that's why the last few days of the transfer window, hopefully we do keep going, keep busy, and sign some more players. There we go. Gordon, man of the match. Yeah, that's what I said. I gave him an 8.5 overall. And yeah, I think the finish he had was superb. He didn't look up to see where the goal was or where the keeper was. He looked down, he controlled the ball beautifully, sent it a little bit forward, and then it was a clinical finish. Knew exactly where the goal was, and that's exactly what we need. Onana, man of the match for everything Everton. Very interesting. I think he had a very good performance. Was taken off around the 65th minute mark, I believe. And he really did put in a shift. But again, I think Gordon with the goal got us the point. I think I'd have to give it to Gordon. But Onana did play very well. May I ask what country you're in, Jonathan? So I am from London. My dad is originally from Liverpool, hence why I am a Toffee. A very proud Toffee at that. But currently I'm on holiday, so I am in Cyprus at the moment. So I have been here for about 2 weeks, coming home in a few days. So I'll be back to normal with my normal streaming setup. I'm currently on my phone, so if the audio is a bit dodgy or the camera or it cuts out, I do apologise, but we'll be back to normal procedure soon. Iwobi cost us a goal. Yeah, it was Iwobi's man. He should have been marking. I've said this before. I think we're a very reactive team as opposed to a proactive team, in the way that if we're sort of reacting to what's going on around us, and obviously in a very fluid game of football, we need to be able to be proactive and see where people are making moves, see where the ball's going to try and be played, and try and counter that. Whereas if we're reactive, it's already too late. And if you look at the highlights, you'll see Iwobi, he was just looking up. He wasn't tracking the man. He wasn't tracking the movement of the ball. And that's ultimately why the Brentford player was so open. And he was just onside by one of the Everton players' feet. He played him onside. But it's regardless, whether it's onside or offside, it was onside. But as in, regardless, we should be able to track the run and track the man. Sorry about that. And be able to cut the ball out, because ultimately, again, that is what cost us. Onana doing well. Hi, crazy boy. Yeah, he is. I really do look forward to what he has to add to the squad. He's already made such an impact, and he's going to be a real pivotal player for us as well. He's very strong. He's determined to win the ball. He's got a lot of traits that are going to be very positive moving forward as well. Let's see what other comments we have. 2 or 3 new players before the window shuts. Yeah. I think defensively we are sorted. Obviously we have a few injuries, so it has made us look a bit thin. But overall we have made improvements to our team. It'd be nice if Garnagay comes in as well. Maybe take out Davies as a replacement who maybe isn't as strong, and really set up a solid wall. I think if we have a player like Garnagay, who could play a more defensive role, then it would free up Onana to be able to play a more attacking role. Because again, he's very strong and he can utilise that by bullying other players off and on the ball, and be able to contribute something going forward as well. When's the Leeds preview? I believe the Leeds game is on Saturday next week, so the preview will probably be Thursday night or Friday. Let me just look it up for you, and we'll hopefully be putting out a video then. Sorry, my bad. Leeds is on Tuesday, so that is it's on at 8 p.m. So hopefully the preview will be out Monday. We aim to do our previews the day before or 2 days before, just so we can have a chat about potential predictions, the lineups. So make sure you join us for them. If you're on YouTube, make sure and Facebook, if it has the feature, make sure you turn the bell for the notifications on. Make sure you join us. We'll see you soon. Good analysis. Thanks. John, this is the best stream quality you have done. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Feel free to reach out to us as well. My Instagram is @JonathanRoskin. Feel free to message me on there and I'll happily have a conversation with any of you. Yeah, there you go. Tuesday. Glad to see the stream's good. John looks shocked. With what? Message Dan and tell him to rewatch the stream, as we mentioned him and his thoughts about the game, so it'll cheer him up. He was down before as I was. Yeah, I think we'll sum up here, but I think overall it was a bit of a disappointing match. Obviously, we went up 1-0. We escaped a few missed chances from them, but we could have gone up 2-0, and it was unfortunate that we didn't. But again, I am thankful that it was a draw, because honestly we could have lost that 5-1. It was one of those games where it could have been a win, loss or draw, and you just don't know till the final whistle's blown. And yeah, I think that wraps it up. At least we didn't lose. But yeah, hopefully the players are going to be well rested for Leeds on Tuesday, not too far away. And then we've got the derby as well, so gives us a bit of a rest break before then. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. And it's been a pleasure having you all on. So take care and hope you have a good week. And we will see you on Monday for the match preview. Take care, guys, and hope you have a good one.